Something caught my attention in the corner of my eye, and I look up and I see this stump.
Will Ulmer of Bigfoot of Stevens County shares a story that will change the way you look at stumps in the future and raise the question, does Sasquatch use the art of distraction?
A group of us headed up to Northport to head up onto Sheep Creek to do some camping for a few days. And we ended up going about 14 miles past the main campground on Sheep Creek. Found a nice little location right next to a creek. We had mountain range views from every direction, and there was nobody around. We were probably a mile or two from the Canadian border, and the only time we saw a vehicle out there was a Border Patrol agent who drove by once, stopped, checked us out, and then just kept on going. And that was the last time we saw another human being there. Well, we ended up going for a hike and checking out some of the dried out creek beds and stuff, looking for any kind of tracks or anything. We were out there for, this hike was probably 4 or 5 hours, so we were getting tired and wanted to head back to camp and get dinner cooking. And as we were walking up the road, I just happened to notice some bear tracks and some soft mud to the left of the road. So I bent down to check them out, and they were cool tracks. I mean, large bear tracks with the claws, the classic bear track. Something caught my attention in the corner of my eye, and I look up and I see this stump, this burnt what I assume was a burnt out stump, about 40-50 yards from me. And I was just like looking at it, you know, it just had this weird shape to it. It just looked odd to me. Before I could really study this stump, we got a super loud vocalization from across the road. I mean, it was super loud, a loud howl that just engulfed everything around us. And it ended up setting off some coyotes that we had no idea was nearby. The coyotes went crazy, and then we heard something just hauling ass through the brush in the tree line from where the howl came from. And of course, we all turned and looked at that, and we ran over there and spent about 30-45 minutes looking around trying to figure out what howled and what ran off, but we couldn't find anything. And it was getting late, so we decided, let's get back to camp, have dinner, and we'll figure everything out later. So as we were walking out, I just happened to glance back in that direction where I saw that stump, and it was gone. That stump was gone. Whatever was standing in front of me or squatting down, whatever it was gone after that vocalization. One thing I learned years ago, I was really into Taekwondo, studied all the martial arts stuff, and my instructor always told me, always keep your eye on your target, because if you get distracted, you're gonna get taken down. Whatever that stump was, and I was looking at it, something vocalized behind me to get my attention off of that stump. Whatever these things are doing, they're really good at distracting you. And when I turned around, most likely that's when the stump disappeared, because it wasn't there when we left. I didn't know what to think of it at the time, and because this was right when I was pretty much starting my whole real field work out there, and the possibility of thinking of a juvenile Sasquatch never even crossed my mind. I was thinking more like, oh, it was probably just a bear and it just ran off. What's interesting about doing Bigfoot stuff is it seems like they will distract you to take your mind off of what you're looking at. I could have had a full-fledged possible juvenile sighting right there. But because it vocalized behind me, it distracted me. Something knocked, broke a tree, whatever, took our attention off of the main target that we were going for. So when you're out there, stay focused on what your objective is. If it's something in front of you, disregard whatever's behind you. Let someone else look at that. Stay focused on what's in front of you. I know that's hard. I'm still getting distracted all the time out there, so don't beat yourself up about it. So I don't know if we had a juvenile sighting there or not, but that happened up on Sheep Creek several years ago.